Hello FlossTube, my name is Leann and I am leann.stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today is Thursday, February 23rd, and this is my 35th FlossTube. It's been 4 weeks since my last video, and it has been quite a 4 weeks. I've been sick for most of it, just back-to-back stuff that has kept me away from filming. I'm still dealing with a little bit of cough left over from an upper respiratory infection. So if you see lots of cutting in this video, it's probably me just taking coughing breaks. I also have a soda with me to hopefully keep me from coughing too much, but it tends to happen when I talk a lot. But I really wanted to make this video today because, in case you didn't know, Nashville's coming up next week and there's quite a lot going on. And this is gonna be my second year exhibiting at Nashville, and I'm really excited. We leave a week from today, actually a week pretty much from right now, because it's a 3-hour drive for us and we get to check in starting at 4. So we'll probably be leaving right around this time in 7 days. And it's just, it always comes up so fast. And anyway, I'm going to show you a few things that I'll be bringing with me in case your LNS is going to be there. You can tell them to stop by our booth and see what we have. But first, let's talk about stitching, because even though I was sick for a good 2 weeks and didn't get a lot of stitching done during those 2 weeks, it has been 4 weeks and I got a lot of stitching before and after I was sick, including a model stitch that is being released in the shop on Friday that I want to show you because it's really fun. And lots of full coverage, because apparently I caught the full coverage bug again. And so I spent a good almost week and a half just doing 2 full coverage pieces. So I got lots of progress to show. Okay, that was cough break number 1. Let's get to the stitching. The first thing, these are in no particular order. It's been a long time. I have no idea what I stitched when. I just hopefully am showing you everything that I stitched on, and hopefully not anything I didn't stitch on, which I won't find out until I'm editing. So we might be in for some surprises. Okay, so the first thing I have to show you is Once Upon a Fairy Tale by Aimee Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I have the Max Colors version, but the regular size. So it means that instead of 89 colors, which is Heaven and Earth Designs' usual color range, there's 233 colors, I think, 238 colors. So it means lots of confetti stitching, and so I don't stitch on this a whole lot because I can't get a lot of progress in a short amount of time, but I stitched on this for 4 days, I think, and I did 3,200 stitches. So here it is. And I honestly couldn't tell you exactly where I stitched. I basically just stitched around. I am focusing, and this is about the end of 2 pages, and this is about the end of 2 pages. This is the bottom, this is the shelf that is the bottom of this first top section. There's 4 shelves that go down the piece. And so I'm really just, I was, starting up here and picking symbols and trying to fill in this top sky portion mostly. And then I kind of just took the colors and followed them down wherever I could. So I know I got lots of sky in. I know I did a lot in this section, and I did a lot in the bookshelf down here. I think I filled in some of this tree. But yeah, mostly, like I said, I just filled in a little bit of everywhere. 3,200 stitches doesn't look like a lot when it's a piece this big, but I think I got some details figured out. So yeah, I'm stitching this on 25 count Lugana easy grid, and I'm stitching 1/1 full cross. So there's that, and then the other full coverage piece that I worked on this one for like a whole week, is Reader's Paradise, and this has been sitting in my project bag, so it's all wrinkly. But I just love this design, and I'm not really a white and brown and tan kind of person, but I mean, it really is a Reader's Paradise. So when I saw it, I knew I had to stitch it. And this is also by Aimee Stewart, charted by Hayde. And I'm also stitching this on 25 count Lugana Easy Guide 1/1 full cross. And here we are. And after stitching on Fairy Tale, I decided that I liked the stitching of like a 2x2 page square. And this one, I have a lot less everywhere stitching and a lot more concentrated stitching. And so I really worked basically just filling in. I filled in, let me see if I can do this. I filled in going down this way. I filled in going down that way. I did a lot in this section right here. And then after I'd done some tan and some brown, I really wanted to do this blue section. So I got a lot done in there, and I did that full blue section, and then I started carrying it down because if you look on the picture again, the blue, where am I? I'm backwards. The blue is up here, and it comes down here, and then it gets into this bookshelf. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, is I wanted to start stitching some books instead of just ceiling and window. So I started stitching the blue down, and then this is kind of the railing that goes across, and then again it goes down, and that's where the bookshelves start. So that was kind of the direction I took, and I did 3,927 stitches, and my goal was that I really wanted to get above 10,000 stitches, and I did. I got to 10,004, and if I knew that I had stitched 3,927 stitches, I would have stitched another 73 stitches so that I could have done a even 4,000, but I'm happy to have gotten to 10,000 stitches. So yeah. And then another piece I worked on was the Moons of 2022 by Barrick. And I stitch on this on the nights of the full moon. You know, there's one night of the full moon, but the night before and after, I also usually stitch on it. And I didn't get a ton of progress, but I was really excited to start stitching on this because I had done all of the list of moons up until October. So I knew that I was gonna start working on the border, and I really wanted to get into those teal and blue colors. And I only got to stitch on it for one night, and then that's when I got sick and I didn't stitch for at least a week. So yeah, so that's where I worked, was on that flower border. And I'm very excited for March's full moon to come so I can keep working on it, because it was really a lot of fun. Just fun to do something different other than the letters. The next piece I worked on is Parliament of Owls, also by Barrick. And this was my bonus stitching piece where I would just do a length-ish of thread each afternoon, usually after dinner before the kids went to bed. If I didn't have reading to do with my first grader or anything else going on, I would just sit down and stitch a length of thread into this one. And I got quite a lot of progress, but I really only stitched on it for about a week before I got sick, and then I haven't picked it back up. So here's where I'm at, and I basically outlined the whole Houses of Parliament, and then I'm really excited to go back in and stitch all those windows. That's what I'm planning to do next. Yeah, there it is. I love this one. I can't wait to stitch on it some more. And I am stitching this on 40 count granite. I think that's granite. It might be Tumbleweed by Forbidden Fiber Co. And I'm stitching it 1/2 using the called for DMC. I think it's actually, it is model stitched in NPI, but there's a DMC conversion, so that's what I'm using. The next piece I worked on is Mirabilia Miss Christmas Eve. I only worked on this for one Monday. I'm trying to work on this every Monday because I really want to finish it by Christmas Eve. I'm stitching it with Sarah from Memphis, Sarah E. And our goal is to have her finished by Christmas Eve of this year. We started her Christmas Eve of 2021 so that we can start the Christmas Pixie, Holiday Pixie, something like that by Bella Filipina. And so I'm trying to stitch on this every Monday, and I kind of divided it into 12 parts, and I have a goal for each month, but I am way behind on this month because I haven't stitched on it. And I actually forewent stitching on it a couple times to do the full coverage. So I really think I've only stitched on this once this month. But here she is. And I just love her. She is very addictive to stitch on, and I'm trying to go through and pick up all the confetti stitches so that I'm finishing her top down except for the beading. And so I worked a lot in her green dress, just kind of stitching down. I know I did several lengths of this darker green, and I did a lot of fill-in. I think I can't remember if I put in the red this time or if that was already there, so I'll find out when I put the before picture in there. Yeah, I love her. I'm stitching her on a 28 count Calacatta gold. I have just a few pieces listed in the shop. I custom dyed it for this project, and the leftovers that finished out the dye lot are what's in the shop right now. I haven't reproduced it at all, other than those couple of dye lots I did when Sarah and I were kind of figuring out what we wanted to stitch it on. So yeah, the next piece I have to show you, I do not have a picture of, so I'll put one in one of these corners, is Dark Queen of the Earth by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I did a lot on her too. I spent a good 3 or 4 days. We had snow days or ice days. We don't really get a lot of snow here, where we were covered in ice for, schools were closed. The county schools were closed for 4 days. Our school was only closed for 3 because we don't have buses. So when the highway was cleared and our school's parking lot was cleared, they opened the school again because the buses didn't have to get to the back roads. So I stitched on this for all of those snow days when I wasn't hanging out with the kids and helping them and stuff. So I finished part 4 over here. I think that was part 4. I started part 5 and I got a good bit done on it. And then part 6 was released, and it goes up, I think it's up here. I can't remember, but part 6 was already released. And I'm hoping to finish part 5 before part 7 is released. So we'll see how that goes. I might actually bring this one to Nashville with me to stitch on. We'll see. I didn't do any stitching at Nashville last year because I was so tired at the end of the day. But we'll see how it goes. I'm stitching her on a 32 count Belfast linen. The colorway is not in the shop. It's a custom dyed colorway for this project. I don't know if the color is really coming out really well. You can definitely see the pink, but all of this is like a peachy orange. And the closest color I have in the shop to it right now is Parliament, but this is kind of, we turned the saturation up for it. So yeah, that is all the stitching I got done in the last week. That was really fast. Normally it takes me a good long while to get through all that. I had an itchy nose and a soda break. I do want to show you the model stitching I did over the past 2 weeks, because it was quite a lot. It was over 8,000 stitches, so it took a good bit of time. And I found out yesterday when I went to go take the picture for the pattern that I missed a little bit of back stitching, so I have to do that still. But here it is. We started a new series in the shop this year called Saturday Morning Cartoons. And so the first in the series was last month, and it was Smurfs, which we renamed to Little Blue Creatures, and the pattern is called Papa's Wisdom. I'll put a little picture of it right there. So that was last month, and Garfield is this month, and we're calling him Fat Cat. And it says, "I'm not overweight, I'm under tall." And he took a little while to stitch because that's a lot of orange, but it was really fun. I really enjoyed stitching it, and I love this variegated colorway that we dyed specifically for this pattern. Is called Lasagna, because if you know Garfield, you know that he loves lasagna. So there he is. And I just finished this, I think I finished it on Monday, other than I have to go back and stitch in the inside of a couple of the O's. But yeah, that is all the stitching I've done. I have one more model stitch I'm about to start probably tonight that I want to get done before Nashville, just to show off. I call it the hot beverage series, and it has tea time and coffee helps and hot cocoa hugs in it. And I really want to model stitch the hot cocoa hugs so I can show all 3 of them together. So I'm going to start that tonight and try to get that done by next week. So that'll probably be the majority of my stitching this weekend. And then I'm just going to go back into my regular rotation of Mirabilia Mondays and Dark Queen Tuesdays, and maybe chatelaine Wednesdays. I'm kind of taking a break from my chatelaine because I've been on my full coverage mode, but consider the lilies on Sundays, and I am way behind on my temperature Quaker, and I want to catch that up. And I want to work on some of the other projects that I started New Year's Eve and stuff like that. So I don't really know. I don't have any concrete plans. I know that I really want to do some more full coverage. I really want to work on Marvel Heroes. I haven't worked on that too much this year, so I'd like to spend a good 4 or 5 days on that, like I did Reader's Paradise and Once Upon a Fairy Tale, so that I can make some good progress there. I do want to show you some shop news that I'm bringing with me to Nashville. So if you're just here for the stitching, thank you for tuning in. And if you are curious as to what I'm bringing to Nashville, hang on. So last year, we brought a kit, and it was called Plant a Garden, and it was Nashville exclusive. So if the shops didn't buy it at Nashville, then we for the shops who did buy it at Nashville, we said we would never release that outside of anyone who attended Nashville. So if your LNS went to Nashville last year and they did not buy the kit, I will put it up here. They can still purchase it from us as long as, like I said, they attended Nashville last year. I'm kind of bummed that I did it that way because I really feel like it's one of the best patterns I've ever designed. And now I'm kind of stuck in this exclusivity thing where I can't release it because I promised it wouldn't go out other than to Nashville attendees. And I don't know if I count as a Nashville attendee and can I sell it in my shop or not. And I just don't want to step on any toes or go back on my word. So I've kind of just left it alone. So this year, the kit that we designed is called Let It Be, and the pattern is available individually or it's available in a kit, and I will show you that in just a second. But it's only going to be exclusive to Nashville attendees for around 8 weeks, and then we will be releasing it in the shop. And I'm really excited. It's not at all what I had planned to release at Nashville. I had actually planned to release something to do with chickens, and then all of my chickens got killed very sadly by a fox or a raccoon. We're not really sure which. And so I just didn't have the heart to finish that design. And I pivoted to bees instead, which is crazy because as all of the Nashville releases are coming out, everybody did bees this year. So it's kind of funny, but here it is. And blue fabric always kind of washes out. So I don't know if you can see the fabric as well as it should be, but this is a new spring color that I'll show you in a minute called Cumulus, and it's blue and it actually has little bits of purple in it, and I really just wanted it to look like a beautiful cloudy spring sky. And then it's got little bits of honeycomb around the edges. It's got the beehive and Miss Queen Bee right there wearing her crown atop the honeycomb, and it says Let It Be. And kind of the inspiration for this was that I have been deathly afraid of bees. Not allergic, just afraid of bees ever since the Africanized honeybee thing happened when I was a kid. And I've just always been afraid of bees, thinking, well, what if it's an Africanized honeybee, and what if it's killer bees, as they called it? What if it's a killer bee, and what if, its whole hive comes and stings me? And so I've just been terrified to the point where I freeze and I cannot move. And moving to the South and being afraid of flying bugs has been very hard. And there are a lot more flying bugs here than there are in Southern California. We have horseflies. Like, what the heck? Horseflies, they're insane. And so horseflies and wasps and red wasps and black wasps and all of these different things. And it has really just put my fears into overdrive. And it has actually been gardening that has helped me get over my fear of flying bugs, because now I view everything as a pollinator. And even though I still back away very slowly from wasps, and I tend to freeze when they're around, and horseflies, I can't even get into it. But bees, I have really learned to appreciate. And I have learned that they really don't want to hurt you. They don't want to sting you because it kills them. They really just want to get their nectar and take it back to their hive. And so that's kind of what I'm celebrating here, is just that coming out of that fear that I have had for, 30 years. I don't know. I just aged myself a lot. But yeah, so that's what that one's about. And like I said, the pattern is available, but we also have it in a kit. And the kit comes with a fat eighth of a yard of the Cumulus fabric. And for the show, we are only doing it on 32 count and 14 count because that's the fabric I had available to put in the kit. And it comes with all of the flosses to make the pattern, which I think is 5 colors. I can't remember for sure. I think it's 5 colors. It might be 6. And then it also comes with one of our hand-dyed project bags. And it's hand embellished with vinyl. And this vinyl, I don't think you can see it in the camera, but it's actually puffy vinyl. It's the first time we've ever used it. So, and then we had to reorder our project bags, and so I redesigned them to add a little strap because I noticed I love these project bags. I especially love knitting in them, and one thing I noticed was that when I knit with the project bag, or even when I'm carrying it somewhere, I want to be able to do that. So now, like, I can knit like this, or I can just carry it on my arm, and I made sure I tested it to make sure that this fit around my wrist because I'm fairly big boned, and I have big hands, so I knew that if it could fit on my wrist after dyeing, that it would pretty much fit on anyone's. So there's that. And then it has one of these little zipper pulls that we also make in the studio, with this really cute honeycomb charm on it. So yeah, and your whole project will fit in here. It fits a pattern and floss and fabric, and it even fits a small Q-snap. I think a 6x6 Q-snap fits in here for sure. An 8x8 Q-snap can usually fit in it. It just depends. The bags shrink in the dye pot, and sometimes they shrink this way, and sometimes they shrink that way. It just depends on how they were sewn. And so an 8x8 will usually fit in here, but sometimes it can be a little hard to get the zipper closed. So that is our Let It Be kit. And again, if your LNS is coming to Nashville, have them stop by the booth. We will have some available in the booth to buy, but we're also taking pre-orders on them through Sunday. And then fabric. I'm so excited about the fabric. Last year I didn't bring nearly enough, and I didn't bring enough big pieces of big yardage for the shops. And so this year we really focused on that, and we have 8 new colors. Oops, I just kicked the tripod, I'm sorry. We have 8 new colors that we're bringing to Nashville. We're not really taking pre-orders on it, but we have plenty available for the shops to purchase. And so I want to introduce you to the colors. They're split into 2 sets of 4. One is our spring fabric collection, which if you're familiar with that, every season we come out with a fabric collection, and it's usually 3 colors. We did 4 this time. And we have it available in the shop as dyed to order. So you can order, as long as we have the fabric in stock undyed, you can order whatever size, whatever count you want, for generally 2 to 3 months. And so that'll be in the shop after Nashville. And then we also did some neutrals, because one thing that I heard from shops last year was that they really wanted more neutrals to do samplers on. So we did 2 grays and 2 browns in addition to that. So let's start with the neutrals, because that's what I have in my pile first. This one is Stonehenge, and it's a kind of a medium to light gray, and it's got some brown tones in there. I don't know if it's coming out right in the light. And this one is a 25 count Lugana. So this really shows it a little bit more watercolory as opposed to as modeled as it could be. So there's that one. And then the other gray we have is River Rock. And this is just a lighter version of the Stonehenge. And so it's got the bluish grays, and then also some brownish grays in there, if you can see it up there. And this one is on an 18 count Aida. So again, this is a little watercolory compared to how it would be on linen or even 14 count Aida. Our 14 count Aida takes color so beautifully. Okay, and then for the browns, we have Praline. And this is kind of a yellowy tan, medium brown-ish. This is on a 28 count Lugana. And really, you can see a little bit of the modeling in there. And I just love this. And then we have Toasted Coconut. And Toasted Coconut isn't actually a new color. This is in the shop available now. This is on 40 count linen. So you can see how beautifully it models. This is just my favorite brown lately. I've been stitching a lot of things on Toasted Coconut. And so I really wanted to bring this to Nashville and more widely release it. So Toasted Coconut is actually a lighter version of the color Prehistoric that's in the shop. It was in our Jurassic Park kits last year. And then Praline is kind of in between Toasted Coconut and Prehistoric. So that's kind of where all that came from. So yeah, those are our neutrals. And then our spring colors, and I am so excited about the spring colors, and I wish I could take credit for them, but Kimberly has been doing a lot of dyeing at the studio, and I kind of tell her what I'm thinking tone-wise. like I say, you know, we really should have a purple, another purple. Or I really, like with the Let It Be, I told her I really want it to look like a cloudy sky, and she came up with the blue. And I think I said, let's try this dye color. And, you know, we talked about dilution levels, and then it came out of the dye pot, and I'm like, you know, we should add some purple. So I kind of give a tiny bit of creative direction, and Kimberly just takes off with it and does amazing things. So I wish I could take credit for these colors, but I can't. This is Hibiscus, and it is getting pretty washed out by that ring light. And also it's kind of a cloudy day, so the light isn't the best, but this is all purple. And then it's got these pockets of orange and tan in it. And it's just stunning. I don't know if you can really see it, which makes me sad. But this is a 32 count. And this is honestly just begging for a fancy lady on it. I can think of like the Mirabilia Flower Fairies would be awesome on that. And now I want to stitch one. And this is Cumulus, which you saw in the Let It Be kit. This is a little less washed out than the kit was showing. Let's see if I can show you a piece. This is on a Lugana. This is a 28 count Lugana, so the purple isn't coming through as much. But you can kind of start to see it down in here a little bit. But it's just like the cloudy sky, the perfect spring sky. So there's that. And then we have Daffodil, which is a bright orange with lots of yellow in it. That's kind of coming out true to color. It's much brighter in person. I hate that the light is washing this out. But there's that. And this is on a 14 count Aida. So you can see how well it models in there. And then the last spring color we have is Honeydew. And this is just a really pale green, spring green. And it's not very mottled. We have this technique where we call zhuzhing. And instead of scrunching the fabric really tight to create lots of modeling, we kind of just lay it in there and zhuzh it around. And we tried to come up with how to spell that one day. It was very interesting. But anyway, it creates a lot less modeling on the fabric and just a different look. That's really good for more tonal and semi-solid fabrics. So that's that one. And that's a 14 count Aida again. So you can see the difference when we scrunch it and how mottled it comes out, and when we zhuzh it and how much more even it comes out. So yeah, that is everything. We're going to be bringing some other stuff to market. We're going to be bringing lots of different cuts of fabric of our current stock that is listed on the website right now for shops to look at and purchase. So if there's been a colorway that you've been wanting, let your LNS know and they can come look for it. And then we'll also have, excuse me, we'll also have a few patterns and just things to show. And I'm just really excited to get to chat with the shops and see everybody, see the designers and the friends that I've made over the past year. We did a collaboration with Michelle Bendy from NameND.stitches, and we have a floss pack for her. I think it's called Pendulum is the name of her design. And then we also did a collaboration with Sweet Wing Design, and for the life of me, I can't remember the name of her pattern, but it's based on a Proverbs verse. And so we have thread packs for that as well. So let your LNS know that you want them to come by the booth. And yeah, that's all I have to show you today. I think I've rambled on enough about color. I tend to nerd out a little bit about color in case you didn't know. If you are going to be in Nashville, I can't wait to see you. Otherwise, I will see you when I get back. I hope that you're having a good week. I hope that you're staying healthy, because it feels like everybody here is sick right now with upper respiratory and stomach flus and pink eye and just all the crazy germs. So I hope you're staying healthy, and I hope that whatever you do, you lead with love. Bye.